everyone, and welcome to Bizz and Buzz.
Hey guys, welcome to our second episode. Today we are very lucky and happy to say that we are at Prohibition Lounge, and we have a very special guest today that we will introduce to y'all later. It's the owner, and we're going to ask him some questions, kind of get his insight on running a business, going through college and things like that. This episode we're going to be talking about the ups and downs of talking about your major, switching your major, and kind of things of that order. So please stick along with us all day. We have a great guest, and we're excited to get this episode to y'all.
So I feel like nobody really knows what they're doing whenever they're picking their major at 18 years old. So my question is to y'all, how was y'all's experience picking your major?
Yeah, so for me, it was really easy. I came into school thinking like I'm either going to be finance or marketing. I knew for sure I want to do business. And I decided to focus on marketing because I just felt like it gave me like the creative aspect that I wanted, and it combined kind of that business side with like, you know, a fun side. But what about y'all?
So when I was picking my major, I had like 6 or 7 I was thinking of, but it was at the end I did finance freshman year, and that's because, you know, I have a big interest in finance originally, and then the more I did accounting, I realized I didn't really like it that much. And so I switched to marketing because I want to do something more in sales. And so right now I'm doing marketing and entrepreneurship with a minor in supply chain. What about you, Coleman?
So I was kind of along the lines of Thomas as well. Freshman year, I was in high school. I was really good in math, which is very surprising. But I was like, I kind of want to be on the financial side of things. Some of my family members and some of my friends were also kind of in that track. And I was like, that sounds like a great way to kind of start, get your feet wet. You know, you've always heard you can always change your major, but at least try what you think you're going to finish in. And then this last semester, like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, do I really want to take a couple more finance classes, a couple more accounting classes? And I had trouble in the accounting classes.
Me too.
And I was like, I've already had 6 or 7 of my friends like switch their majors, Thomas being one of them, and I was like, you know what? It's okay to switch your major. It's okay to do something that you don't necessarily want to do for the rest of your life, to switch the major. 100%. And through our IBC program, I learned about marketing and sales, and I feel like we were very successful as a team.
Yeah, we were a great sales team.
Great sales team. Sure. So I was like, maybe I just spend the rest of my life doing this, and I've been nothing but happy with what I switched. I mean, it's a Monday night at 10, and we're doing schoolwork right now. So there's definitely there's also a lot worse things you could be doing, like studying.
Yeah.
But marketing majors for the win. So I feel like it's definitely been a great switch, and I couldn't be more happier.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question. So how would you say you explored your major with IBC?
Great question. So there's of course many sides to a business which I didn't fully understand until I was a part of a business, to say. So I was on the more of the marketing side in the beginning, and I realized that I maybe wasn't best fit for kind of that type of role, and kind of I transitioned over to the sales team, and me and Thomas did, I believe it was, business did 6 to 7 times more sales and revenue over.
Hey!
Yeah, we did a great job.
We were okay. Like overall, we're the only group that would actually sell out twice. So basically, we did Crimson coasters, so we ordered a bunch of coasters.
Like 600 to 700 of each.
Yeah, and then after that, we
Get it right.
I know, I'm trying to.
Yeah, we outsold them. I think, what was that like? I think we sold like they're like. It was like we were the only group to sell out twice. And Cole and I led the whole sales department, and it went really well. And then that's basically when we both figured out that we want to do sales, and we've been working on it ever since. So it was a great opportunity.
Shelby, I know you haven't really switched your major, but what kind of brought you into the major you are in currently?
So personally, I'm a first-generation college student. So both my parents, I didn't really have much guidance whenever it came to me picking my major, but both my parents started out in sales, like y'all were saying, and my mom was telling me that marketing was the best major to choose if you're going into sales or something like that, because that's the only experience she's had. And if you have marketing, then you can market yourself, and then you can succeed in whatever you do. So that's why I'm a marketing major. And my minor is digital marketing, which I actually really enjoy, and I like the social media marketing aspect of my major the best, like this class.
I have
It's
a
my favorite.
question from left field for both of the girls here. If you had to pick another major that wasn't marketing related or something like that, or in the College of Business, what do you think you would be?
Ooh, so like not in the College of Business
Not in the
at
College
all?
of Business at all.
Advertising.
Okay.
Gaylord. I think that would be really cool. I really think like doing something with like the film and like, I don't know, like that kind of stuff would be cool. Yeah. I've never really thought of this. I've always been
Great
so
question.
business oriented, so I've never really thought. Shelby, what would you say you would do?
I originally was coming to OU for interior design because I want to get into the real estate business. I'm getting my real estate license right now, but I used to work at an interior design firm and I loved it, but I felt like I needed to go to college for a business degree rather than an interior design degree.
For sure, kind of
Yeah.
keeping your doorways open instead of
Exactly,
interior
just
design.
in case that I came to college and ended up hating that, then I could
Yeah, that
be
makes
stuck.
sense.
But, yeah.
Right.
I mean-
what about you, Coleman? What would you do?
It's kind of crazy, but I can see myself kind of possibly going along the lines of like maybe health and exercise science.
Okay.
As you know, Tommy, I mean, I feel like I could be a great. I'm trying to think of the word. I believe it's called like chiropractic, stuff like that. I broke my back freshman year and did kind of a physical therapy,
Yeah.
kind of things like that, and I was very intrigued with that. And I always thought it was cool that you could get a job starting at a small business and then work your way to working for a professional sports team and traveling with them. So I thought that was always cool, and I have a roommate, shout out Michael, but that's kind of what he's trying to do right now. So that's also very cool, cool little gig for sure. So what would be something that you would tell maybe an incoming freshman or maybe a freshman to kind of get involved in the marketing things or kind of get involved more in the major than just like an average student?
Okay, I can take this one. I would say get involved in clubs. I'm personally in the American Marketing Association, which is the marketing club at OU. I serve as vice president, leadership role on exec.
Sure.
It is the best experience ever. You get connected with industry professionals, you can network, you can get connected with your peers. It's like the easiest way to make those connections and kind of like establish yourself in your major than like beyond just going to classes. And I really have found like so much help with it. I would fully recommend everyone to get super involved. And beyond that, like I'm a marketing major, digital marketing minor, just like you, Shelby. And I'm in the investment club. I'm in the healthcare club. I'm in the finance and women in finance club. Like it's
Women in
just
STEM.
women in STEM at this point. And so just getting that involved, it opens the door to so many opportunities that you just otherwise wouldn't find, and you can just meet so many people. So I would definitely say that.
So what would you say, Tommy, you would tell a younger you or someone trying to figure out their major and kind of the way to go through that?
Great question. So what I would say is, kind of, it's not really like what you're really like that much. I think you got to look at what you're actually good at, because a lot of people like stuff that, to be really blunt, doesn't pay anything or really has no future in. But I would say if you're doing marketing, actually participate in the class. And like I said in the other one, just raise your hand to actually get to know the content. Don't try to just scrape away with a B in the class or a low A. What I would say is actually talk to your professor and get to know the professor more. And more than likely, people, like I was saying, love to help other people. And so I would say ask the professor, like, hey, I really like this class that you teach. What opportunities or what other internships I can get with that opportunity. And more than likely what they're going to say is like, oh, come to this business conference or whatever. But it's just more kind of putting your foot through the door. And then once you do that, you'll actually get to know a lot more about what you actually like and what other companies have to offer. That's what I would tell my younger self that.
Shelby, if you want to piggyback off that.
Yes, piggybacking.
Oink, oink.
Piggybacking off of Tommy, as he was saying, like, get to know your peers. Peers always want to help. Today in class, we were asking what our classmates would want to know going into college, picking majors and everything. And a few people in our class said that taking a quiz, what should my major be, really helped a few of them, because a lot of them changed their majors to marketing before they were finance or accounting like y'all. And then they took this quiz and realized that they didn't really like accounting, maybe that they wanted a career in it, but they weren't good at it. Like you were saying, finding the things that you're good at, your strengths, is a very great tool to succeed in college and in your future. So I would say that, take quizzes, get to know yourself very well before committing to something you're going to hate later in life.
Right. What would you say, Coleman?
So one thing I would say is a couple of my friends, around like 6 or 7 of my friends, were all business undecided, or just all business undecided in the beginning. And a couple of them were taking a class freshman year called Understanding Your Major, I believe it was called.
Yes.
And they were saying that it was a great way to kind of put your feet in a couple of different doorways and kind of figure out what you're going to be better at for yourself. Like what Thomas said, whatever you think you might be best at is where you need to go, not what you think is going to be the most lucrative. Because in this life, you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again just because you're good at it. You want happiness, you want something that you're going to get excited to wake up on a Monday morning, something you're excited to go work after you feel like you don't really want to work anymore, something like that.
Like what fulfills you.
Exactly. Not just sitting behind a desk doing something every single day, which I'm very happy to talk to our guest today, because he's someone that is not sitting behind a desk every day. He's kind of always on the go and things like that. So we'll get to pick his brain about that. And I guess the last thing I wanted to ask about this segment is, if you could change your major, would you?
Nope.
Nope. I say no.
Definitely not.
No. I mean, when else? Like you said, Monday night, we're getting drinks together, and this is our class assignment. Like,
So all my friends that are studying for a test,
Have fun.
have fun. Good luck.
Good luck.
And
cheers
don't,
to you.
Don't
Cheers
envy
to
us.
you.
Hope y'all learn a lot.
Marketing major CEO.
And now we have the privilege of announcing our guest speaker.
From Norman, Oklahoma, 250 67 Hello.
Definitely not 6'7". But
6'7" in heels. 6'7" in heels.
First guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, Jared. We
I'm
really
so
appreciate
excited.
it.
This is a big deal for me.
It is.
You're
It
the
is.
first guest.
First guest.
It's the best.
It's a great honor to have.
Yes.
To be with the next Dave Portnoy's.
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
Jones,
They're all right here.
It's like
Yeah.
this is a big deal.
That's what all the comments been saying. So
So, JR is the owner of the Prohibition Lounge, which is where we're filming at. It is amazing. All of the drinks here are great. We just had dinner here. Pizzas, highly recommend. So, JR, will you tell us a little bit about you? And, he went to OU.
Yes.
So, will you tell us what your major was and you went to OU?
Yeah, I was a business major. I went to OU for my first year, and then I transferred to St. Houston to play golf. And
Go Cats.
yeah, Bearcats, eat them up.
eat 'em up.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
And finished out my college career there. I got a business degree and a finance minor.
Great. Next question that we wanted to ask you is how you used your degree in business, what do you say, minor in finance?
Minor in finance.
In your career endeavors and everything like that.
Yeah, so I work for an oil company. That's my real job. And then I use my business degree in this. I've started a little bar, and we've got a bar truck too, and we do catering, and we have a DJ service. And so this is right up, business degree alley.
So a question I have is, you talked about your bar cart service and things like that. That's kind of originally how you started, correct?
Yeah. I've got one partner in it, and she saw something in Colorado, and it was like this cool drink truck that was at a wedding, and was like, "Hey, do you think we could do that here?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, we can." And so we found this old 1954 truck in Shawnee, America, and fixed it up, started doing weddings and private parties, and then to get your liquor license in Oklahoma, you have to have a storefront.
Brick and
So
mortar.
for the first, brick and mortar. So for the first year or so, we would be like, please rent us for your wedding, but then we couldn't help you with alcohol, or we couldn't make money on it. So it's like, all right, this doesn't make any sense. So then we found this spot on Main Street, and we were just going to do a catering, like a little catering business, and because that counts for your liquor license. And then we started doing inspections with Able and City Norman, and they were like, if you just put an extra bathroom or add this tiny little thing, you count as a full restaurant.
Right.
So like, why would we not do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So then what are you going to do? And on Main Street, a couple pizza places have just gone out, and there's no pizza on Main Street. So we're like, hey, let's do that.
It's needed.
Yeah.
I will say we all had pizza tonight, and I was very impressed with my barbecue chicken pizza.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dave Portnoy, when you come to Norman, Oklahoma for the
One
Michigan game,
bite.
one bite, everyone knows the rules. I think we know where you need to go.
I don't know how we would score on him because he likes like the
For the flop and all that.
Yeah, he likes it.
The crust here though is so good. It's insane. Brooke and I always get the spicy prosciutto, and it's the best thing ever. It has jalapenos, prosciutto, and hot honey, right?
And you added marinara.
And we added
It would've been
marinara.
crazy.
And
We
we
always
That's a
put
sweet-
marinara.
a must. You have to get the meatballs. They're
Mhm.
insane.
Yeah,
And you
really.
also
So good.
you have to get the Prohibition Mule. That's what we're drinking. We'll
Cheers.
insert the clip of how they made it. It's insane. It's like a blueberry mule. It's so good. And then y'all are drinking.
Specialty
What is it?
Oh no, the strawberry
strawberry
lemonade.
lemonade.
Uh-huh.
It was so fun.
And every holiday they come out with fun seasonal drinks, and they decorate the place insane. And the best drinks ever are, I think, in fall. Whenever y'all do the espresso martini
Yeah, we'll
flights,
bring those back.
yeah, they're
So
insane.
good.
So definitely
Yeah.
come by.
All right, so JR, actually a question for you too. I guess I would say like, what role does marketing play for your business here, and how do you utilize that to? So y'all opened like only like a year ago.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
July of 23. Yeah, marketing is crazy. It's super important. I would say from the start of our business when we opened in July, it was steady growth, but it wasn't like taking off.
Right.
Right.
And then we were like, okay, what can we do to really get it going? Well, we did Christmas decor, and a TikTok went viral,
Yes.
and that was it.
The
Yeah.
seasonal
Yeah.
like approach is
That's it.
always a good one.
I know, and
Yeah.
that has been our catapult, and now, I mean, sky's the limit, and it's been great.
That's
All off of
awesome.
the TikTok. It's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, and I know Shelby helps with some of it.
I know.
A little bit of
I know.
marketing.
Big marketing there.
Yeah.
She does a great
Social
job.
media.
She just has to spell check a couple things apparently.
Unfortunately,
I mean, we have to get her
I
on
was
it.
trying to keep that as like a group
Prohibition.
secret.
unfortunately, the first like 3 reels or TikTok, it was reels
Yeah.
that I made JR for Prohibition. It was, I think it was for the espresso martinis
Yeah, it was.
and stuff. I spelled Prohibition wrong, so
There's no A's. It's all
there's no
I's.
A's. It was
Then we
just
learn.
the bleach getting to my head.
The bleed.
The blonde.
Yeah, and I had no idea. And he said it's with an I, not an A. And I was like, what are you talking
The
about?
reels were great though.
Yeah, they're
And they still are.
Mhm.
We still use them.
So when you
Yeah.
say viral, like how viral did it go?
I mean, like 100,000 views
Oh
viral.
my gosh.
Yeah, and we went
All
from
of Norman knew.
all of Norman, and we
Oklahoma.
went from like doing 20 pizzas a night to 100 pizzas.
Wow, huge jump.
Wow.
And people lining out the door at 4 o'clock, and we had to change everything about our business. We only had one computer. We'd only have like one cook on staff, and then it was like, wait, okay, now we have 2 computers and these handheld things, and
Right.
waitresses can use them.
Great problem to have.
Great problem. That's
Great
what
problem to
it is.
have.
Just
So
a
you
very
would
quick
say
scale.
like localized social media marketing is what really like took you off?
1,000%. Because we have done all the traditional. We've done print, newspaper,
Yeah.
magazine, but we've got the most success out of TikTok and Instagram.
Amazing.
Which I guess when you think about the demographic of people that live in Norman, it's the college kids, it's the younger kids and stuff like that. So definitely going kind of right on their phones is where
Yeah,
it
that's
does
that
work.
everything shifted. Everything's on social media.
Like when y'all go somewhere, like you see it and you're like, oh, I would go try it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're not gonna look
That
at
is-
we're not gonna look at a piece of paper or
Yeah.
something when we're out of town.
I specifically remember seeing the holiday TikTok. You were saying it came out like December 5th or something.
6th is
The
really
next
late.
day, I remember my friends and I saw it and we're like, oh my god, we have to go
Yeah.
for our Christmas night. But then we called and it was out of the door crazy
Right.
busy. We're like, well, that's an awesome problem for you to have,
that's
but
great.
yeah.
Yeah, my like whole friend group, it was like all 10 of us. We like had to come, had to try the place, and you know, we got the specialty drinks. There was like a Grinch shot.
Yes.
So good. Can't wait to have that back next year, hopefully. But we loved it so much. And it was because we've seen the social media that y'all have done and promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I would say is before I did kind of the IBC kind of train of things and realized how the engagement will really turn to sales, and getting your business out on people's phones really turns into something crazy. Like I remember when Shelby was posting these reels and TikToks and stuff like that, and I had never really heard of this business in place, and it was just boom popping up in my feed in Norman, and I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. And some of my friends were talking about how they took their girlfriends here for a date, like Valentine's Day date, as we still have the decor here. So I think that kind of seasonal thing is great for sure. You can look at places like Starbucks, the seasonal drinks, it just gets people flocking.
Yeah. We hadn't tried any decor, and then we tried Christmas, and it went nuts.
Right.
And now that's kind of our niche, right? Like, so we changed this the seasons. It's very easy to go from Christmas to Valentine's. You just take down everything that's not red and white.
Mm-hmm.
But then now we'll transfer into like a spring/Norman Music Festival. So we're gonna make this like a disco ball wall with flowers.
Very cool.
That's gonna be so cool.
So
cool.
yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It'll
We'll
work
hang
with
some stuff.
spring.
All spring. You know, we'll see what we do for summer. We can do a little 4th of July theme.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Always
think for
change
holiday.
it.
Yeah. The opportunities are really endless.
Yeah, and you can change drink menus
Yeah,
to go with that. There's just a lot of places, a lot of opportunities.
Mhm.
definitely.
So maybe an out of business question, but you as well were like a beta like me and Thomas.
Yeah.
What would you say was one of your great college stories, kind of
Or funniest.
funniest stories?
You can say it though, it's fine.
I've got an OU Texas story that's funny. You know how it is. You're a freshman. You don't have any money.
Right?
And so, and all your buddies, when you want to go down, well, Beta booked some rooms for us. And I don't know if they weren't good at math or we weren't good at math, but we ended up with like 12 people in this one.
Oh, sounds very true.
I would imagine that's a normal story.
Right.
And then one of my buddies might have been drinking a little too much and pulled the fire alarm.
Oh wow.
At 3 a.m. And the whole hotel has to exit. And I've got tickets to the game. Not everybody goes, so it's like, are you going to sleep in or get up? Because the game's always 11.
Yeah.
And I sat outside from like 3 a.m. to like 7 a.m. and it was just like, it was miserable.
Oh my god.
Was
At the whole hotel.
Was the game still fun though?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did we win?
Yeah, we always
win.
won.
We all
Back
be
then
back
we-
in the
doesn't
day.
matter.
Back then
This
we
is
saw
what we were
it.
good at football.
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering.
Situation.
Sensitive subject.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
This year, turning point.
There'll be no time.
Yep. I saw John Mateer out at Logie's, and I made him understand that we're getting back to what we used to be, and he said it's coming. So bet the over on win total 6.5. We'll get rich together, guys. Don't worry.
Let's put this on our schedule.
Yeah, hardest schedule in the nation, maybe even the hardest schedule of all time, college football.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, what is it? It's
See Bama though.
at Tennessee,
Yeah.
at Bama, then Ole Miss at home, and then LSU at home. It's like 4 or 5 weeks in a row. It's like,
And we put Michigan this year.
yeah, then Michigan, which I'm very excited to see coming in, have Bryce Underwood have his first real test. Hopefully we give him hell. That would be really exciting. A lot of the Michigan fans, it's always, all I hear is Big Ten's better, Big Ten's better. They'll come down to see what it's really like in the SEC, so I'm excited for
We're
that.
going to be good. 9-3, we're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. 9-3, 9-4 if we have maybe a close loss somewhere on the road. Pseudos could get in on the playoffs, and I mean, I feel like that's a great goodbye present to us seniors.
Texas is due
We've
for
been
like a
through
6
it.
and 7.
Yeah, 6 and 7.
They
yeah.
graduated so many
6,
good
7,
players.
yeah. They graduated quarterbacks. I personally don't think Arch Manning is going to be all that in a bag of chips like they say he is, but
We'll see. Hopefully he is.
hopefully he is, and I agree. So from the transition to having a single bar cart and doing things like that to now having a brick and mortar on the ground, what would you say has been one of the biggest problems that you maybe didn't see coming in to start the business?
The biggest problem with the brick and mortar is getting started.
Mm-hmm.
we rented this place out in like December and thought we'd be up and running in February, and it wasn't until July.
Wow.
There is so many permits and inspections and blue tape that you got to pass, and it all takes forever. So that was the biggest learning curve. But once we got that and got all the permits and all that, everything's been pretty good. The biggest issue we face currently is probably staffing. We are a small business. It's a capacity of 50. So when you're running with one cook, one bartender, or two cooks, two bartenders, if one person gets sick, you got nobody, period. So there's been a lot of times where I'd have to come in and fill in for a cook or a bar, or my partner would have to come in and fill in for a cook or bar. Because it just happens. Like people get sick, or their car breaks down, or any excuse. Whatever. Or if you have like an event, like a Guthrie Haunts maybe, and your two bartenders, Izzy and Riley, go out the night before.
Oh no.
And then like a couple hours before the event, they decide like, hey, I'm unwell and I can't make it to Guthrie. So then they text me and I have to go up there.
Unwell.
That was my fault. It was after my birthday party. So I blame myself.
You had to go hard for the birthday girl?
Yeah.
So then I went up there and Brittany went up there.
Oh no.
And did Guthrie Haunts.
You're fired.
Done.
If you might hear in the background audio, there's the whistling storm right now. We are currently filming this at 10:55 on March 3rd, so we are currently on tornado watch here in Norman. So
Wish us luck.
Hopefully nothing happens, but stay safe out there.
We do have a storage cellar.
There we go.
So if you see us filming in there, just know things have gotten real.
It's whistling.
I do have a very funny story talking about tornadoes and tornado watches. So I'm from San Antonio, so that's really never a thing at all, as Shelby knows. So coming freshman year here, it was always my dad, my mom telling me, you're on tornado watch, get to the basement, get something like that. So I was
taking it really seriously.
Of course, yes. Which, I love as they do. I just talked to my dad before this about this. But I remember one night we were at Logie's, and one of my friends from Kansas City, Blake, was just going ballistic. He was just going crazy, talking about the storm's going to come, they're going to hit us here, I'm going to die at Logie's, flipping out. And I believe he ended up running from Logie's to Beta to go to the study hall downstairs at Beta, and he was just freaking out. Everyone's just giving him the biggest load of crap. But I thought that was very funny.
Is he safe though?
That's a long run.
It's a long run.
Yeah, that is long.
It's a little shorter when you're a little drunk, but I'm sure still it's maybe 6-7 minutes running from
They need to
Beta
change the
Logie's.
verbiage because it goes to like warning to watch, and like if I'm watching a tornado, that means I'm watching it on the ground.
Yes.
That's just not-
Yeah.
It's really confusing for out of towners.
I agree.
It is.
I do not understand tornadoes at all. So whenever it's a warning or watch,
Tomatoes model.
I know, and I blame my sweet mother because she just freaks out. She's called me 3 times since we've been.
Because she loves you,
here.
Shelby.
She loves me. I know.
Shout out,
Love
moms.
you, mom. Love you, Lisa. But yeah.
Yeah, I personally am terrified of tornadoes. When I hear one is brewing, I'm the first one at the storm shelter hours before the warning is even sent out. It's really funny because freshman year we all lived in Cross.
Yes.
There was one tornado that happened, and I don't know if y'all remember, but it was
went
like
on Classen.
it was all it was on Classen.
Yeah.
And it was like everyone was outside of the towers and they were taking the pictures of it. Everyone was on top of the rooftops and taking pictures. My roommates were in the dorm and they were fine, and I was sitting over there sweating. And about 30 minutes go by, and we're watching the weather, and I'm just all right guys, I have to go downstairs. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I'll see y'all down in the storm shelter when y'all decide to come. So I was down there for an hour and a half alone, and no one else was in there. Finally, people started to come in, and my roommates joined me, but I was very prepared, and safe.
Whenever you
Okay.
go to the storm shelter, there's always someone in the corner playing Go Fish. So there's always people to hang out with, you know.
Always.
We have like a
that
band
Barnes?
in ours.
Yeah.
Barnes playing Go Fish or
Barnes playing Go
playing Canadian blackjack by himself. So
Like online blackjack.
yeah.
JR, you've lived here your whole life, right?
Other than college, yeah.
Other than college, what's your craziest tornado story?
I mean, I've been here for some big ones. May 3rd, 99 is, if you say that, like Oklahomans are like, oh yeah, that was a crazy one. That one went through more,
yeah.
took out like the movie theater through, and that was bad.
More always gets the worst.
More always
Yeah.
gets it.
Poor thing.
Or has the history of like the most
Yeah.
deadly tornado?
Barnes?
Uh-huh.
So,
Or the biggest tornado or something like that. They're like world
bad.
record.
What I've heard, and this is probably completely wrong, it's just like a myth in Norman, is that Norman is, or OU, is built on Native American like land, and it's almost like the Holy Land. This is so wrong, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a myth I've heard.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, huge disclaimer. And so it's protected by like the Native American like spirits and stuff. And so everything that comes heading towards Norman dips into more. It might just because of, you know, like
Wind
topography,
patterns
wind patterns. You
That
never
makes too
know.
much sense. Why not? Let's just blame it on something
But
else.
you know what? It
Yeah.
also could be Native American Holy Land, and you know the weather won't mess with it. And so
It's
choose
all
what you want to
the
believe.
it's all the casinos shifting it somewhere else. That's what it's
There we
doing.
go. Mhm.
So JR, what advice would you give to freshmen coming into college, or high schoolers coming to college, or freshmen that are going through OU right now, like just to start with?
well, I heard you earlier talking about picking your majors.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters what major you pick,
Okay.
unless you're going to be like a doctor or a
Correct.
lawyer, like
That's
something
so
super
true.
specific. I just chose business because I didn't really know, and it was very general.
Yeah.
You just need to get that piece of paper that says I can do stuff, and get out there and see what you want to do. Because what job you get at 24 does not have to be your
No idea.
career.
For sure.
You know, my advice would be if you have a couple of things that you like or saw that you'd be interested in, research those and figure out like what the income's going to be. If it's going to be like a future job. I think AI and tech is really big,
Sure.
and it's going to kind of change some landscape of some jobs. You know, like so be aware of what the trends are going to be in the next 20, 30 years because that's y'all's working
Mhm.
life.
Definitely.
One more question I had was you talked about off camera how you went to Sam Houston to play golf and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you think that work ethic of playing a college sport kind of transitioned into running a business and starting up your business?
That's a good question. I think it helped because I got to be a normal kid and have the best time ever, and then I got to be like a college athlete, and those are two totally different experiences.
For sure.
And I'm glad I got to do both. I have some of my beta friends are best friends still,
Mhm.
and some of my college golf friends are still my best friends. So, the difference is in college golf, I'm getting up at 6 and doing workouts.
Yeah.
You know, our class block had to be from 8 to 11 because then you have to practice in the afternoon. And then you're traveling a lot, so you got to do homework on your own. All of our tournaments were weekdays, so you miss class. But it was good to get both experiences. To your question, I think that the college athletes have to be so much more structured. They don't have as much free time. And I use that in this business for sure. Because I do my oil work, and then I've got to come over here or go back and forth, and you just have to utilize your time.
Time management,
Time management. Time management.
which is
And
something
you gotta have
people
fun
learn.
too.
Yeah.
You gotta have time to do your free stuff, which I still play golf all the time, so that's my fun thing. So just you gotta have time management.
Great. Well, if that's all, thank you so much for coming on. We really
Yes, thank you.
appreciate all of your insights
I'm
and
glad to host.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hope you had a
Great
good
guest.
time. And
If you're ever
Lots of
looking for
prohibition.
somewhere to come get a great pizza, hang out with friends,
Prohibition, baby.
come down here and you'll have a great time. Say that we brought you, and you'll have a great conversation with this man right here. So,
Say you love the podcast.
yes,
subscribe and like.
subscribe and like. Boom, boom, boom. Well,
Okay.
thank you for coming on today.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank
More
you.
sure, yes.